Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome Jason Day to the media room. Jason today carded a 5 under 67 to end the day, tied first at 7 under par. Jason, you had birdies on 2, 5, 8, 13, 15 and 16. The par fives are pretty kind to you today.
Yes. The whole goal is to try and take advantage of the par fives here this week. The par threes can be difficult at times, and then some of the par fours you need to get through. But over the last 2 days, I've played the par fives nicely. I think I've played them 7 under, which is good. I'm trying to minimise the mistakes out there, and that's the whole goal. If you can get yourself in position and get yourself close to the green or on the green, great. If not, and you're out of position, get yourself back into position and wedge it on close and hopefully hold the putt.
Great. I know everyone's going to ask you about your back.
Yeah.
So could we talk a little bit about the pain you had yesterday and
Yes.
how you played through it and put together 2 great rounds?
Yeah, it was funny. Obviously I've battling back issues pretty much this whole year. Having to play 4 in a row, and it's starting in kind of Bay Hill, and having epidurals and getting those shots in the back, and then last week I had another one before the tournament started, and it felt a lot better. And going down I was on the putting green yesterday, and I went down to kiss my little girl about 2 minutes before I had to walk onto the tee, and my back went out. It's obviously not the way you wanted to start this year's Masters, but overall, it happened in a different spot. It was more on the left-hand side than previous spots, and it typically happens on the right-hand side. So, I was very concerned about it, but I think where it hurt the most was just taking a couple of practice swings. Well, as I was swinging, I think I was focused into the shot where it didn't hurt as much, but just walking the hills and the side hills and uphills and downhills. Yesterday was tough, and I'm glad it's warm out there. So I got some physio last night. Cairo, Stuart Love, saw him last night. Then I saw him again this morning, icing my back a ton. This is not my first time where my back has gone out, so I kind of know the protocol of trying to get myself back into, at least game mode to get out there and play.
Great, thanks, Jason. Karen.
Jason, last year you said that being in the zone for you is not caring about the outcome.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if in a weird way, when you are injured and wondering if
100%.
you can make it through it, helps you.
Yeah, definitely. It especially at a place like this, a major, Augusta National, the Masters, everything that goes on this week, how big it is, and the distraction of wanting to win this tournament so bad. And sometimes it's almost a blessing in disguise with regards to it just brings down the expectation of going out there and trying too hard. And yesterday was great to be able to get through that. And I'm hoping that I can take the same attitude, even though I feel pretty healthy now, into the next 2 days and play well.
Tara.
Is it possible for us, for you to kind of rate the pain yesterday as you were walking between holes? And did you ever consider withdrawing?
I said to my caddy, Luke, I said, if this stays the same pain as it was on the putting green, I'll probably end up withdrawing. But it was in a different spot, so it was kind of new to me. I didn't know how it was going to go throughout the day. And then I saw my chiro after the first hole on the second tee, and then I saw him again on the fourth tee. And then the pain actually kind of just stayed the same. I mean, pain's a funny thing. It goes up and down, and like everyone's pain threshold is different. Someone that is in a lot of pain might feel, something totally different compared to me. So it's hard. Every day I feel like I wake up with some sort of aches, and I think you just kind of learn to live with it. and you just go along the way. But I didn't know how to rate it, because if 10 like is the worst it's going to be, that's obviously a withdrawal, and that was at Bay Hill this year. So I mean, it'd probably be right around a 5. You know, it was sore, and it was hard to walk uphill, because I couldn't put a lot of weight on my left hand side, and sometimes it was hard to get across onto my left hip, especially through the shot.
Teddy.
Jason, I happened to be there Monday under the tree when you told Michael Campbell you felt 31 going on 50.
Oh yeah,
I guess that was not an exaggeration.
Yeah, it's an exaggeration. No, sometimes I wake up and I feel like I'm 50. Sometimes I wake up and I feel like I'm 70, and then sometimes I wake up and feel like I'm 18 again. It just comes and goes, and that's just how it is. And I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to make sure that I have longevity in my game, and that's something that I need to focus more on now than ever before. Just strictly because I have to work harder than most guys, especially with a back injury. I mean, having to talk with Tiger and several other players, that have gone through the same issues. It's no joke. There's a lot of guys out there that either have pain or annular tears. Majority of these guys probably have annular tears. Even in this room, probably have annular tears in their back, but just don't know about it. Unfortunately, golf is a funny game where you're tilted a certain way and you're turning and rotating and talking in a motion that is, especially for the lower back, is not supposed to happen. And the amount of repetitions that we've done, as kids and to adults is a lot, and it slowly wears on you. But I feel a lot more optimistic now today than I did yesterday, and I'm hoping that bar some outrageous thing that could possibly happen, I'm hoping that I feel this good going into Saturday and Sunday.
Ryan.
Jason, you mentioned the protocols. Can you detail exactly what you have to go through every single morning to get ready for a round of golf these days?
Yeah, so I have my own protocols at home. So this is going to sound really weird. I have to get my rib cage back in position. So my rib cage is out of position. So you got your pelvic floor, your rib cage, and the bottom of your mouth. This is my trainer talking, and not me. This comes straight from him. So my rib cage is kind of, when my back was sore last week, my rib cage was kind of out. I was kind of aligned. My left shoulder was high, I think it was. And if you look at the back line of where my pants are on the back, you could see that my hips were kind of shifted and tilted. And I blow into balloons in certain positions to try and get my rib cage down. But then also I've got these other exercises that are trying to get space in the joint with regards to my hips and my back and my shoulders. And that takes about 30 minutes in the morning, and 20 to 30 minutes in the morning, 20 to 30 minutes at night. And then I go see my chiro, and I see him for about, sometimes it's 10 minutes and sometimes it's 20 or 30 minutes as well. So there's a good hour, and then you obviously got to go out and warm up and make sure that everything's good. So I'll go see Stuart again this afternoon and do my exercises tonight. So just it's a pain, but I have to do it.
Jeff.
Yeah, keeping in this theme, continuing. I understand your back issues actually stem as far back as when you were a teenager. Is that true? Is it just from?
Yeah, first started when I was 13. 13, 14, yeah.
Only from golf, or
all from golf? Yeah, I'm not an action sports guy, so.
And then just as a quick follow up, outside of chiro or massage or shots or whatever it was you just explained there previously, have you ever tried any weird sort of remedies? Whether it's,
I think blowing into a balloon is pretty funny. Trying to get your rib cage down and blowing into your balloon. This is kind of very new to me, actually. It sounds very insane when you're sitting there. And I flew down to Florida and this last week, and I met my trainer, and we're in the pilot's lounge of this FBO, and there's two pilots, sitting next to me, I'm laying on the ground, they're sitting there, and I'm blowing these balloons up. And as you let the balloons go, it sounds like you've let one go, right? So every like 30 seconds, I'd be letting these balloons out, and these guys are looking at me kind of very strange. So they understood what was going on, but it's not like your usual what you see during. And Kevin Duffy, my trainer, can obviously explain a lot more. But yeah, this is kind of new to me, and I'm just doing whatever I can to feel good. So if blowing in balloons is what I need to do to feel good, then I'll do it all day long.
Evan.
Surprised to see yourself up the top of the leaderboard, and you mentioned before this could actually be a good thing for you because it sort of focuses you on something else other than the tournament.
Yeah.
Could you talk to that and just how surprised you are to be on top of the leaderboard?
Yeah, no, there's obviously a little bit of surprise because, after what happened yesterday and thinking that, you'd probably, if it doesn't really work out that well with your back, then you're obviously disappointed and you're going home early, and that would be frustrating. And I think the first thing that went through my head yesterday was immediate frustration and disappointment, just knowing that I've actually been trying to do the right things, and I feel like things were progressing nicely, and then all of a sudden it just went out. But going into this week, I worked a lot on my short game, a lot on putting, and I've been driving the ball pretty well, and my irons have been pretty decent. So after today's round, it was just a slow, patient round. I wasn't trying to take anything on too drastically with regards to being too aggressive out there. So, and it just kind of, I had momentum on my side. It just kind of built and built and built. And do I think that I may have the lead after, today? I may have the lead, but I said earlier that I don't know if I will, because I think the backside is very gettable out there. I think the guys, I don't know what the weather's going to do, but I think, there's no wind out there, and not like we had yesterday where there was big gusts of wind coming through, especially on that backstretch. I think the guys will probably play well this afternoon.
That up. Do you think surgery might be a legitimate option this year?
No. I want to stay away from that as much as possible. Once you cut yourself, you can't undo what you've done in there. So if I can just stay away from that's the number one key.
John.
Jason, how all-consuming is this to your quality of life? I mean, it was a natural act yesterday to kiss your daughter.
Yeah.
And is it the kind of thing where now you have to squat instead of bend over? I mean, how all-consuming is that?
Yeah, but it's unfortunate because I can't, having to go lay down and ice my back yesterday. I was back at the buses, and my boys hitting golf balls with Caleb Watson and the kids outside. Like, you want to spend some time with them, but you're in pain, so you got to go back and ice your back, and it's unfortunate because, as a natural distraction that you have after the round, like at a big tournament, is your family, and you want to spend quality time with them. And I'm lucky I have a very supportive wife that allows me to go and do these things and lay on the bed and put ice on my back. But sometimes some years are better than others, and you can have, it's hard. It's, emotions go up and down. Sometimes you can be down and depressed because it feels like your world is, kind of crumbling around you, and you don't know if you can come back from injuries, whether it's, a thumb injury or back injury or wrist or knees. As an athlete, I don't know if, if anyone here has played, a sport before and been competitive at it, that when you have an injury, I feel like, myself, it feels like your world's ending, like you've got nothing else, and you've put everything that you possibly can in your life into one thing. And it can be very depressing and emotional at times. And it's hard because you don't see the end, anywhere close. It feels like you're just, roaming around, and you can't get out of this injury, and then all of a sudden it just somehow pop out of it. But sometimes I just got to take myself a lot less seriously and know that I've got a good family, I've got good support around me, And that golf sometimes is not the thing that shapes me. You know, people like me out in the golf course because of what I do. Unfortunately, I don't know who I am as a person, and I understand that. You know, people like me because I play golf really well. But at the end of the day, I know the people that love me and support me will always be there, regardless if I tee up another ball tomorrow or not. And that's the main thing that every time I go through an injury, that I always think about.
Gary.
Jason, you tied for second your first trip here. What have you learned about this course since then, and what do you feel like you have more to gain in terms of knowledge?
You can't be overly aggressive to this course. I pretty much could run through every single hole where you need to hit it and where you can't miss it, you know? And knowing that the past experiences of playing well here and being in contention or being the lead, and then you can obviously draw back on those things as well. But there's certain things that you can, so you take the par fives, for instance, the last 2 days I've hit 3-wood off, the tee on 2, and then you can just hit it down somewhere around the green, get yourself in position. Whereas sometimes you can take driver, maybe pull it just a little bit left. If you go right at that bunker, sometimes you don't have enough to carry it, and it's in that bunker and you're hitting 60-degree out, and then you're struggling to get it on the green. So sometimes being overly aggressive. I play with Jeff Knox. I play with Bernhard Langer, and I always say this, down 2, I hit driver and I hit 7-iron in my hand. He hit driver and 3-wood into the green, and he ended up beating me that day. So, and I also play with Jeff Knox, who sometimes is a marker here, and he doesn't have enough power to take on some of these, covers on some of the bunkers. So he has to play to his game, and it's all about positioning and leaving yourself in the right spot. So knowing that I've got the game to be aggressive when I need to, and be explosive, but it's more so about just being more on the conservative side, get your birdies where you can, because tomorrow we could wake up if there's no rain, and tomorrow the greens could be a total different story. They'll be running, instead of running where they are now, it could be running at a 14, your defense putting all day long. So it's a very, very tough golf course.
The last 3 questions. Gary at the back.
Jason, sorry to return to this subject, but I'm curious as to how this affects your warm-up when you get to the course, as far as number of reps you can do. And the other part of that...
there's no reps that will change with regards to my warm-up. I think it's going to be more so in my practice leading into tournaments and the prep that I do. So I had a chat to my coach, Colin Swatton, last week, and I think I'm going to change the way that I practice, not so much with my putting and my short game. Still keep the same amount of quantity and quality, but lower the amount of balls that actually hit in the off weeks, but put a lot more emphasis on trying to hit every shot like you're out on the golf course. So concentrate more, essentially. And I think if I can do that and lower the reps, then hopefully through the level of concentration, then it'll be a level of quality. Hopefully that adds up the same as to hitting, instead of 40 drives, I hit 20 drives. Hopefully that adds up the same.
If I can just follow up real quickly, a lot of guys with back problems say it bothers them most when they practice their putting. They can't stand over and putt for a long time. Is that the case with you?
No, not for me. No, it's always been fine. I mean, you get sore back bending over in a certain position. It is an awkward way to stand, but I think I've been doing it for so long now, and you just always walk off with a little bit, back pain, but putting and chipping has always been fine. It's just the bigger movements that have been tough for me, especially, I don't want to have to get into it, but early extending through impact and crunching down on the right side is typically not a no-go for me.
Gene at the back.
Jason, you said people can't relate to you maybe as a person because they don't know you, but they certainly can relate to back pain.
Yes.
The very first thing when you wake up in the morning, what do you think of relative to your back? And secondly, and I'm not saying this as a smart aleck, but did you bend down to kiss your daughter today?
They didn't even come on the putting green today. Sometimes it takes me 10 minutes to get out of bed. Some years just to roll out of bed and get up and move around. And I'm walking around, and but some years it's different. But nothing. When I wake up in the morning, I'm just this morning I woke up and I was disappointed because I thought my back was going to be a lot better than what it was. But obviously we worked on it last night, so things are going to probably we moved a few things and things are going to be sore. But like I said earlier, my wife, Ellie, I looked at her and I was kind of moping a little bit in the bath, and she's like, "It's a Masters, you need to suck it up." So I can't complain about it too much, because I said earlier that she's birthed 3 children and I haven't. So she's a lot stronger as a person than me with regards to pain. And I just hit a little white golf ball around a course. So I got to listen to that. And she's like in my corner. So, we got some good work in this morning with regards to the back, and things felt much better.
Todd.
Jason, given the 67 and what you've been going through, how much appreciation can you give yourself with this round and how you played, given what you've been going through?
I think it's just an appreciation of being able to play at this golf tournament, being able to walk the grounds and play the golf course. And even if it is a little bit of pain, I mean, everyone, like I said, all these golfers out here have some sort of pain, whether it's knees or feet or wrists or back. Everyone's playing through a little bit of pain. Sometimes it's worse than others, but I just enjoy this tournament so much. I get a thrill out of coming here, and it's my favorite tournament to play in, just because they do such a fantastic job with regards to how they treat everyone, not just the players, but everyone that walks through the gates and is walking around the grounds. It'd be more of a disappointing feeling for me to be able to go home yesterday, knowing that I had to pull out because of my back. And I feel very blessed to be able to play, especially over the last 2 days, and being able to go out there today and shoot 67 was a very, very good score. So I can't get ahead of myself. There's still 36 holes left, so the main goal is to get myself into contention, and hopefully I can do that by Sunday. And if I can do that, then maybe capitalize on the opportunities and hopefully grab a green jacket. That'd be nice.
Last 2 questions, Brian.
2 very quick things. Do you remember the last time in a week you haven't been bothered by an injury?
Yeah, no, all last year. All last year was fine. It was great. I had no problems with that at all, and I actually felt phenomenal. But sometimes it just happens.
And second thing, when Ellie sends you a message like that, I'm just curious, so much is made about injuries, and just curious if you sometimes need those sorts of things, or maybe how much they help.
Well, it's not because she wasn't coming in, she wasn't telling me to suck it up in regards to it's your back, you need to just go out and play, and you know what I mean? It was more like on the mental side of things. I was like kind of, like I said, I'm moping around in the bus, and I was disappointed, and I was kind of more down, and then she was like trying to get me ready for today, and it ultimately did. I had to, just sitting there by myself, I'm like, man, I got to somehow change my mindset coming into today, because if that happens, I could miss a cut today and go home, and I've got the excuse of my back. No one's expecting me to go out and play well because I've got a back issue. But I can't let that happen, because I'm trying, no one else is going to be sympathetic to me. My playing partners aren't. Everyone that I'm playing against is not going to be sympathetic to me just because I've got a sore back. They're not going to go out there and shoot one more than they should because I'm, I've got a bad back. They're going to use it to their advantage, knowing that they've got that over me. So I've got to, be mentally strong, and sometimes having a good supporting wife and knowing what she has to say in certain situations to get me ready is crucial, and obviously helped today.
Last question, Jerry.
So I wanted to ask you, without beating a dead horse, when you were walking down 1 yesterday and climbed in and out of that bunker, did you ever think at that point you'd finish 9 holes, let alone 18, let alone be in the position you're in now?
typically when I have a back issue, I see how it progresses. Sometimes, like at Bay Hill, it tightened up. You know, these 2 days, everything loosened up, which is nice. And sometimes it tightens up, and sometimes it loosens up. You just don't know. It just is it how it is. And obviously, having Stuart out there to help me along the way, he got me through 9 holes. And I'm like, okay, if it stays the same way it is right now, then I'll be able to get through 18. Then I'll be able to see you, and hopefully the pain will come off a little bit more, and then I'll be able to see you again tomorrow morning. So it's just hopefully just, you know, the pain will just slowly diminish over time. And you know, when you have an injury, you're going into it and you're okay, we'll see how it progresses. If it gets worse, then you can't play. If it gets better or stays the same, then let's just tough it out and see if we can make something of it. And, you know, fortunately, I'm able to, you know, be tied lead right now through 36 holes, or there's some guys still playing, but playing well today was nice.
So, Jason, on behalf of all the 50-year-olds in the room, congratulations on
Thanks, mate.
on a great round, and good luck for the rest of the week.
Appreciate it.